Hi, I'm Erik Brant, and I wrote this book, the Book of Revelation, Things Which Must Shortly Come to Pass. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. It is about 600 pages long, but the actual commentary itself is only about 440 pages. The remainder of the book is things like images, maps, glossaries, notes, and so forth. All of those things are there to help people understand a little bit about the book. Bruce R. McConkie said about the Book of Revelation that it was a unique perspective of the plan of salvation. So if you know a little bit about the Book of Revelation, you know, for example, that chapter 4 deals with the creation of the earth. You know that chapter 5 deals with the premortal existence and also with the atonement. Chapter 6 deals with the history of the world, and it goes through the different millennia that we've already passed through. And then we get to the seventh seal, or chapter 7, really through about 19, that deals with the second coming, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Chapter 20 and 21 deal with the millennium and also the earth being celestialized. And these are topics that we have a lot of understanding about. If we were to say, tell me what you know about the millennium, a lot of people could say a lot of things about what will happen in the millennium. What makes the revelation difficult, though, is that sometimes the language, he doesn't always present it in the language that we're used to. And so what the purpose of the commentary is to help bring all of the resources that we have, either from general authorities or from scriptures or so forth, into the book so that we can bring it into something that makes sense to us. As I mentioned, a big part of the Revelation is the part that deals with the second coming. As we know, Nephi was told that he could write about certain things up until we got really to the second coming, and then the angel said, you can't write about this, probably because he was too plain about it, and we'll give that assignment to John. And so Revelation is what he saw of the events that lead up to the second coming. And again, the Revelation presents it in kind of a sequential order. There's the kind of the warning and the trumpet phase. There's the Battle of Armageddon. There's the whole concept of the beast. There's the concept of the harvest. There's Babylon and what happens to Babylon in the last days. And then, of course, there's the second coming of the Lord. And so you have kind of a sequence framework that's built there. And again, what the commentary does is bring in the resources of things that we already know and understand and puts it in a language that's more easily understood by people who are familiar with the gospel. In the second and third chapters of the book, the Lord talks to the churches, the primitive church in particular, and he says that there are certain promises if you remain faithful. Sometimes we talk about some of the principles in the book of Revelation as being principles relate to the temple. Now, I don't go into the temple hardly at all, but I do talk about some of the principles that talk about, for example, the first thing is that you'll be able to eat of the fruit of the tree of life. That's kind of something that we're familiar with when we hear about the tree of life, and particularly in Nephi's dream. Towards the end, he talks about that you'll be able to sit on my throne and that you'll have my name on your forehead. And those are concepts of receiving exaltation. And so those are principles that we talk about a little bit as we talk about the Revelation.